Well, viewers, the video I've got for you today, fitting the engine mounts, and as I've probably already said, I'm setting them up so that they're actually bolt in, so they can be removed, and I'm reinforcing the chassis rail where these are being mounted onto. It sort of did concern me a little bit about the welding them onto the chassis rail, because I thought the chassis rail is a bit flimsy, but as it turns out, after actually getting in there and doing the job, it does appear that where the engine cross member comes across and bolts onto the chassis rail at those points where the engine mounts are going, it is much stronger. It looks like it's actually been reinforced, probably from factory, which makes sense. But the other reason, like I like to have them to be able to unbolt. If you've seen those engine mounts from previous videos, they're very much like the engine mounts on the World Cup cross members, which are just that cylindrical shaped rubber or nylon or whatever. And you know, I do have concerns as to how harsh they might be, because there's not really a lot of give in them. And I thought this way, you know, if I decide that I want to make something else up that's a bit, you know, offers a little bit more comfort and absorb the vibration a little bit, then you know, this might be the way to go. It looks like they used to make a few different variety of engine mounts for the Duratec, but now it seems that those little cylindrical round bush type setups are all that they actually do. And so anyway, you'll see what I've done in the video, but basically that's what I've set up there. There's that section there which is reinforced on the inside of the chassis leg, and that's 2 mil plate, and then I've actually got a plate that goes on the outside of the chassis rail too, which I've got these captive bolts that run through the chassis rail, and so that's welded to that section. I haven't drilled holes or anything for the mounting of that yet, because I've got this is for the other side of the car. I haven't done the second side yet. And so yeah, that needs to be put in place and then welded securely. And anyway, that's that. It's really been good. I see the comments and that, and some guys, you know, are sort of itching for me to get the next videos up, and so they can see what's going on with this build. And like I said in the last video, you know, we're doing some landscaping work around the place, which I thought was really going to hold me up, but unfortunately every second or third day we've had rain, and we just haven't been able to get back out there into it. But the sun's shining brightly today, and you know, today is Wednesday, so hopefully maybe by this weekend we'll be able to get out there and do something. But it's also a little bit slow going. The only time I get to work on the car is, you know, Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings pretty much. And so, you know, when you're only putting in, you know, a few hours every week, one of these days I'll retire and I'll have more time to play toy cars. But the other comment that I was just going to come back on is, there was one comment made, I think it was the video before the last video. Now you'll notice when you see the trial fitting of the engine, where the heater matrix, the pipes come out of the firewall, it's on the driver's side, and it's right where the water rail runs from the back of the Duratec engine around the side to the front. And so the room is very minimal, and I had someone respond and say, you know, have you thought of tipping it upside down and putting it out the other side? And at the time I thought, oh, I think that's a bit crazy, but I then thought, I'm sure that I've actually seen someone that has done it. And as it turns out, just by chance, I actually found an old video. There's a mob in the UK, retro something, I just can't think of exactly, but they do a lot of restorations of all sorts of cars, including Escorts. And there's actually a Mark 1 Cortina that they've put a Duratec engine in, and they've actually turned the thing upside down and put the pipes out the other side. And so this is the heater matrix right here, and you can see this is the pipes that come out on the driver's side, and it looks like it would actually be quite easy to tip that upside down, cut a hole for it to come out here. Obviously this probably needs to be opened up here, and maybe this side here closed off. So it's not out of the question, and it may actually be just the shot. And if I'm going to do it, probably now's the time to decide to do it before I start painting things, so I can weld up the existing hole in the driver's side and create a new hole in the passenger side. So that's something I might seriously look at. So there's that, and so yeah, I've just got to get in. I've done the passenger side engine mount, which is this video, and then I've just got to get in and do the driver's side. And then I actually also thought, I think with the fuel pumps that go in the boot to run the fuel injection, there's a little mounting piece that needs to probably be welded in. It goes on the driver's side, like on top of the chassis rail in the boot. So I'm thinking I probably should organise getting that done, so that I don't have to do any welding in the floor area before painting underneath the car, because we're getting close to throwing a bit of that paint underneath the car, which I'm looking forward to doing. But anyway, I'm probably rambling on enough now. We need to get into this video. You'll see behind me, disc rotors have come, and I've just got them just mounted temporarily. Trial fitting. So you'll see the disc rotors behind me. So I've just trial fitted them, and they're looking beautiful. We'll look at that later on. So anyway, let's get into this video right now. So what I'm doing, I've got a bit of this 2mm plate that I'm using to make up a bit of a reinforcing for the chassis rail where the engine mount is going to mount onto the chassis rail. And there's one there that I've sort of bent up already with the engine mount attached to it, and I'll go through that a bit more at a later point. So I'm just going to fold this one up. I've got my old homemade metal folder here. Unfortunately, it needs a little bit of work. It's not the greatest in the world, but it does the job. But it's tough going trying to weld this slightly. Tough going trying to bend this slightly thicker 2mm plate. So anyway, I'm going to set that up and have a go at that. Okay, so I've got that clamped in there rather tightly. And so now I'll put this trusty shifter on there with a nice long bit of bar hanging off it, because my left shoulder is pretty ordinary at the moment. Oh, that's folding up a bit easier than what I thought it would. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now I've got to bend this smaller section down the opposite direction. That's where the fun begins. In fact, I think the other day I found it was easier to do it just in the vise with a couple of bits of angle line strapped to it. Okay. Now that's looking pretty much exactly the same as the other one. Get my marking pen. I have got a mark, but it's on the other side, so I'll just bring it across to this side. And just see. Yeah, bent that one just a little bit far. Yeah, okay, so I turned that around in the vise and I've clamped it in, and now I'm giving it a clobber with the big hammer and a piece of timber. might be a little bit not quite on the line, but anyway, let's see how it looks. Just put it next to the one that I've already done. Oh, that end's not too bad. That end does seem to be not quite right. I'll put it on the chassis rail of the car and just see, but I can fix that up. See what I'm doing here. So I've just placed that engine mount back in position there. And so now I'm going to drill the holes. So I know where the holes are going to be. A little bit tight for space in here, but so, four things being equal, that'll line up with the two holes I've got in here. Like so. Okay, so then that should give me my right foot positioning where this is going. So what I'm basically doing here is just reinforcing a good section of this subframe, and I'm setting it up so that I can actually bolt these rather than just having them welded straight to that chassis rail, using some captive nuts and things, which I'll probably explain a little bit more. I'm going to basically have this secured from both sides. I'm going to strengthen the underside as well. So that's sort of where we're at. So I've just got to need a little bit of timber I need. Here's one right here. Those holes have ended up, I did have it packed, but it's just ended up, the holes are a little bit low, so I'm just going to try and drill them a bit more. Anyway, today was supposed to be rain, but the forecast last night said that it's going to be, the rain's going to move in this afternoon. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Now, I thought I had a pencil here somewhere to put some marks down, but it's disappeared. Okay, so I'll drill a couple from this side. Yeah, well, that chassis rail is quite thick in that spot, so obviously they have strengthened it in that area where the cross member sits for the engine. And so what my plan is, I've got these couple of nuts that are going to be welded onto the back of there. I'll just make the holes big enough for them to go in there, and so then this will be welded around so. And I was going to basically, everything's gone walkabout. I've got the captive nuts welded in place on the back of this side now, so I'm going to go and sit that in position and just have a look how it looks. Well, there it is sitting in position now, so that's going to be fully welded around the outside, and I'd say a few spot welds in the guts. Okay, hopefully you can see what's going on here. Unfortunately the phone I'm using for my camera is that stuffed, I can't really see the full screen, but I think that's in shot. So I've just been doing a bit of mucking around off camera because I've just basically been sort of trying to work it out as I go, and I've got that all mounted in position, not welded or anything yet. I've got the captive nuts underneath there welded into this 2mm plate that I'm going to weld in place. I've also got this plate here that's going on the other side of the chassis rail. It's got a couple of long captive nuts which basically are going to tie this outside to the inside, just to give a bit more strength hopefully. And so that comes up through there, and that looks like it's nicely. I might need to just give this one a bit of a tap. That's looking pretty good. Well, the rain's come in, unfortunately. It's just starting to spit, and apparently it's going to get heavier. So what the idea, I just want to get these positioned, then I'm going to weld these captive nuts in position on this side. I really need something to put in there and give it a bit of leverage. I got in this morning and cleaned up the bench over there, had it looking nice and tidy, and now just a couple of hours later I think I've got most of the crap that I put away back out. That first one there is looking real good, but this one here, I think the bolt will go in, but it's not quite centrally located, so I just don't want to run into dramas. Maybe I just need to just grind one side of the hole I got there just so I can get it over a little bit more, and I think it'll be fine. And as usual, oh no, here it is. I thought someone had stolen my pencil. So I think if I just take that out a little bit there. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to tidy that up a bit, and then we'll come back, and I think we're almost ready to weld this one on. And it's taken me a while doing this first one, but in doing the first one I've also got a lot of stuff that I need to do for the second one done as well. But unfortunately I've been told that I've got to pack up early this afternoon because people are coming for an early dinner. Oh well, I did have high hopes, but anyway, these things happen. Okay, that one fits. Okay. Okay, so I'll finish welding those captive nuts into there, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this is that lump of 2mm plate that I've got sitting on the outside of the chassis rail. It's got the couple of captive bolts, which I'm just going to plug those holes up with a bit of weld. Just have them threaded from the other side, and I've just got these spots that I'm going to plug and put a bit of weld around the outside, and then that's pretty much this side finished off. So it's about here that I have a look at this weld, and I was just so thoroughly disgusted with the way that it looked, and I thought that it's just got to be the welding helmet that I'm using. I just cannot see what I'm doing. and so I decided it's time to go and buy a new welding helmet. Viewers, you've probably heard me say many times when I'm welding that I don't seem that I can see very clearly at all when I'm welding. I've been using the old Renegade welding helmet. It was just a cheap one. I'm not sure whether it came with the welder or being stingy, I probably just bought the cheapest one that I could find at the time, or slightly better than the cheapest. And anyway, I thought, oh, maybe it's just the, the lenses and stuff, the protective lenses need replacing. So I found some and replaced them. I still found that it was very useless, can't see. And I thought, well, is there a difference between the cheaper welding helmets and the more expensive ones? And I thought, well, the only way I'm going to find out, I suppose, if I give one a try. So I've gone out and I've actually bought this World Class Mk2 680. It's got all the bells and whistles, press button operation for the various modes and things, and there it is. It even has a nice little bag which I'll probably continue to use so that I can try and protect it from getting scratched up and what have you. So anyway, I'm going to have a go at doing some welding with this, and we're going to see what a difference it makes. Yeah, that's made a huge difference. I can actually see the weld pool so clearly. When you're welding this very thin sheet metal, it's just so easy to blow a hole, and so you've usually got to tack and take it off and tack and take it off and tack, and just continuous little tacks. And with the old mask, I really couldn't tell when it was getting to the point where it was going to blow a hole, but with this I can just see so clearly. I can just see in the weld pool when it's getting to that point that it's going to blow a hole. And yeah, this is just so much better. It's not funny. Okay, I've just been doing a bit of welding with the new Mk2 680, I think it is, and all I can say is wow, what a difference. I should have bought this ages ago when I first started the job. I can see absolutely crystal clear the welds that I'm doing, and you can see the pool of weld that you're leaving behind beautifully crystal clear. I mean, this is just a game changer. And so if you're ever having trouble with your welds, get a good welding helmet. That's all I can say. This one cost me about $319, I think it was, and there were ones, and all the way up to about $500–600. So I don't know how much better they'd be, but yeah, for what I'm doing, this is absolutely terrific. This is a game changer. Well, the new welding helmet has made an incredible difference to that weld. I probably still need a little bit of practice. So there's the mounts all in place, and we'll get that thing on there next week too. Okay, so we're going to bring this video to a close right here, and as you see, so now I've got that brace back welded in place here behind the rear gearbox mount. Rear gearbox mount is done. We've got both engine mounts secured with the reinforcing around the chassis rail and on either side of the chassis rail. So pretty much done with stuff that's got to be done on the floor so that we can get to the point where we can put that coat of Raptor paint, get the yellow underneath here. The only thing I've got to do, these that I've got in my hand here are the mounting brackets for the seats which have been removed from the car. So that's the seat mounting brackets. This is just the passenger side. I've sat them, that's pretty much where they sit by the marks that are on the floor. I hope I've got another set. I've got one extra that I've found laying around. I've got a box full of bits that I'll have to go through, but If not, they don't look like it'd be too hard to fold up some of my own. So anyway, when we get back next time, we'll probably be looking at attaching seat rails and seats and things. So that'll be fun. Now I've actually got a set of seats coming this afternoon, and I've got to go. I'm actually going to go and pick up some seat rails now, and so then I can look at getting these welded back in place on the floor, and then I think we're pretty much all done with the getting what needs to be done on the underside, and yeah. So anyway, yeah, as I say, we'll wind this up here. I do appreciate your viewing and appreciate your comments. So just remember, if you haven't already, if you like and subscribe, and I'll try and get another video up as soon as I can for you. Thanks for watching.